You've got to have a really strong group of instructors. Now, all the test pilot schools out there have great instructors, but most of them are not allowed to stay at the school for a long period of time. On the other hand, most of the instructors here at the National Test Pilot School, we hire them and they stay a long time. So if you're going to reach in a bag and grab out and pick out a typical instructor, what would you find? Well, the first thing you're going to find is most of them are a retired military test pilot. They've both been in the military, and then they've also been out in the civil industry doing some kind of flight test work with at least 15 years of flight test experience. Almost all of them are going to be a graduate of a recognized test pilot school. In fact, here at the National Test Pilot School, we have at least one instructor from all of the top 5 test pilot schools that are recognized by the Society of Experimental Test Pilots. Our instructors right now are about half and half, US and international. We have international instructors from Australia, Canada, Greece, Israel, Italy, South Africa, the UK, and France. I'm retired Army test pilot, over 20 years of test flying in the Army, and I have a Doctor of Science in Engineering Technology Management and have been here at the school for about 2 years now. My deputy and vice president, Mr. Greg Lewis, has been here at the school for over 20 years.
I graduated from the U.S. Air Force Test Pilot School, later taught there for a couple of years. My
Director of Business Operations, Mr. Mike Hill, retired Navy test pilot and graduate of the U.S. Navy Test Pilot School.
I've got 7 years here at the school. I've got about 15 years of flight test experience. I've had 2 tours at the Navy flight test facility at PETERSON River.
My Deputy Director for Performance and Flying Qualities, Mr. Ed SOLSKI. Ed's a retired Canadian Air Force.
I was fortunate enough to go on an exchange tour as a test pilot with the U.S. Navy Naval Air Test Center in PETERSON River and was involved in F-18 and some F-4 testing.
Our Deputy Director for Systems, Mr. Bob McShay, former Air Force with another 20 years of experience in civil industry.
Did the X-29 B2. Came over here and I've been here for 17 years running the system space.
One of our newer instructors, who's now our Chief of Operations, Mr. NICOLA PECILE.
Was a test pilot in the Italian Air Force for about 10 years, and before that I was a fighter pilot in the air defense role, flying Tornadoes F-3s in the Italian Air Force.
Russ Stewart. Russ has been here at the school for quite a few years, more than 15 years.
I was a test pilot on quite a few Air Force programs, to include the A-10. And then I went back to the Air Force Test Pilot School, as the chief of academics there.
One of our younger instructors is TSOLEKAS. Yannis out of the Greek Air Force.
So I came here over at Edwards and attended the U.S. Air Force Test Pilot School. I went back and worked another 7 years as an experimental test pilot for the Greek Air Force.
Mark SWANEY, U.S. Navy retired. He's a U.S. Navy Test Pilot School graduate.
I've been at the National Test Pilot School for almost 6 years now, and I'm a systems instructor and one of the test pilot instructors at the school.
Nigel SPEEDY, our lone Australian.
I was a graduate of the US Naval Test Pilot School, and the last 6 years of my time in the Australian Army was working as a test pilot.
ILAN ARUSH, retired Israeli Air Force, flight test engineer, US Navy Test Pilot School graduate with a master's degree in aero. And one of our newest members is Mr. RIGEL HEBMANN. RIGEL has a Master of Science degree through the French system, retired French Air Force, Empire Test Pilot School graduate, and former Commandant of the French Test Pilot School. Chris McElroy has joined us recently in our systems program.
I worked for the UK Ministry of Defence for 20 years. The last 10 of which I worked at the US Naval Flight Test Center at China Lake.
One of our youngest instructors, Ryan Olson, on our systems curriculum. He's one of our recent master's program graduates.
I also have an engineering background as well. I did aerospace engineering.
Dr. Lester Ingham, who is a retired South African Air Force, graduate of the National Test Pilot School, PhD in UAVs. He is the head of our Flight Test Institute. We also have numerous part-time instructors that come in and assist us as required, and we love having these guys come in. They really help us out and bring a lot of experience to the program.